Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Hadhirotush from TBI 5D, and this is my reflection entitled Learning and Assessment Implementation. So, as a student in the English education program, I've experienced firsthand how learning implementation, when done effectively, shapes the overall educational experience. Learning is not just about delivering content, but also about creating meaningful interaction between teachers and students. In one of my recent classes, the lecture's approach was student centered, which made a huge difference. We were encouraged to participate actively, and assessment were not limited to paper based exam. Instead, we were assessed through peer feedback and self evaluation, which I found much more engaging and effective for my learning. When it comes to assessment, I have observed how it can guide learning if used constructively. For example, formative assessment, which we often did in the middle of lessons through quizzes or group discussion, helped me identify areas where I need improvement before the final exam. This type of assessment helps both teacher and students track progress rather than waiting until the end of the course to realize what went wrong. This aligns with what Daki mentioned that assessment not only measures learning but also provides feedback that drive improvement. In Indonesia, one of the key issues I've noticed and one of that highlighted in the text is the lack of proficiency in English speaking. Is a student and a future English teacher, I've seen how many of my peers struggles with expressing ideas orally. Despite understanding the material, this reflects the problem of ineffective learning methods and lack of focus on real-life communication skills. For instance, when we practice speaking in class, many students hesitate because they fear making mistakes, and the traditional lecture-based of method and teaching doesn't provide enough space for interactive communicative activities. In my role as a teacher candidate, I've observed that using role plays and authentic medias like films or songs has helped break this barrier. When I facilitate a small conversation group, I use clips from movies to stimulate discussion, and it worked wonders in getting students to talk without feeling judged. It made English feel more alive and applicable to daily life, which Kurniawan suggests is key to improving fluency. Going forward, my aim as a future educator is to incorporate more context based learning and technology into my teaching. The use of online platforms like Duolingo or interactive quizzes can make learning more accessible and enjoyable for students. Furthermore, I plan to develop my own teaching materials that reflect real life English use rather than relying solely on textbooks. By focusing on creative and interactive methods, I hope to overcome the challenge of passive learning and encourage more active students' participation. In conclusion, effective learning implementation and assessment require a balanced approach that combines traditional and innovative methods. As a student and future teacher, I recognize the need for continuous adaptation and improvement in both teaching strategies and assessment to meet the diverse um, learning. So that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.